Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mike in the Asylum with your hosts, Sydney Cisneros,
Jesse Netto,
Ron Van Busker,
and Liam Grant.
Join us tonight while we talk about some of our favorite horror movies, and we'll just kind of go around a round table and give our general thoughts about the movie, delve into deep spoilers, plot points, everything, the ins and outs, so just be aware of that.
I'm not entirely sure how spoilery this is sort of a movie.
Yes.
very...
Now join us, especially with the movie we're doing now.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say we're talking about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, that wonderful classic from 1988, directed by Steven Chiodo, I think that's how you say his name.
I think so.
Starring Grant Kramer as the protagonist, Mike Tobacco. And
The
a bunch
80s had the best names.
the best names. And a star-studded cast like such famous people as Literally no one. John Vernon got a special mention in the opening credits. The Sheriff Mooney.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Is he in stuff?
Probably.
Probably. He was probably like a big B movie actor back then. And
Watch him be some famous.
watch him be like
era.
the Daniel Day-Lewis of the day or something.
Here, I gotta kill a spider.
Yeah, you do that.
Oh,
Liam.
God.
You guys just keep on
Oh,
talking.
shit, that's bigger than I thought it was.
Keep on talking
That's
about your
kind of
clowns
uncomfortable.
Well, welcome.
from outer space.
Welcome to our horror
While I smack
podcast.
That scared the shit out of me.
Well,
That was a bit louder.
well, I don't think PETA's going to be our sponsor.
No, that's
This
fine.
is bonus episode now.
Is it dead?
Tyrion, get it!
It's fine. All right, so
We're back.
Jesse, you start off with you give us the basic plot breakdown.
Oh, God. So, it's a small town in... Did they ever say where it is?
I don't know. It's just assumed Americatown, USA.
Yeah, and people are going about their daily 80s lives, and then suddenly people start disappearing or being turned into cotton candy as this roving band of alien killer clowns are rocking around, having a good time, and sharing that good time with us.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually there's a Clownzilla. Spoilers.
Clowns
Spoilers. There's going to be lots of spoilers.
and like Jesse just said, it's about alien space clowns, and they go around and they pretty much kill you by cocooning you in a cotton candy cocoon. I don't know how
and
to say that.
they just cotton you up, cotton candy cocoon. They drink you like a
They
dead
like
spider.
digest
But
you.
the beautiful thing about it is the death scenes are very
Cartoony.
There was a man killed by pies. Like he was pied.
No,
to death.
everyone remembers the pie scene, but I'm really partial to the shadow puppets.
I love
the
that's
shadow.
my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
one.
the T-Rex.
Yeah. Now, one thing I suppose we should mention is that this is played for laughs. It's not a serious movie at all.
It's very
I took it very seriously.
It's very campy.
Very campy.
Yeah.
Intentional camp.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a hot topic for me, considering my opinions towards camp.
So knowing that, do you like this movie? Does it hit that exact right place where it's too in on its own joke?
Sometimes it is. I like I guess I'll start off with the opinion part of the round table. My basic opinion is I love trash movies. You know, your classics like The Room, Birdemic, and then slightly crazier stuff that I don't even know about because I was kind of hammered when I watched it.
Damn, lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, right. But now, I have a huge problem with movies that try to be campy. Like Samurai Cop 2 tries too hard to be campy and kind of suffers for it. Red Letter Media's movie, I think it's called Space Cop.
I agree with that.
It's got the Top Cop.
Time Cop.
Time Cop.
By the way, I'm back.
Yes. No, Time Cop is the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
More like Jean-Claude gosh darn.
Yes.
Liam bringing that classic wit.
Well, and that's a good example of a shitty movie that's great, though, because they think they're making an amazing movie. Killer's Clown for Outer Space, I think because of its subject matter of being clowns, it kind of surpasses that, because, it's clowns, especially back then when they weren't considered terrifying by everybody. There are scenes where I actually laughed out loud, a lot of lines delivered by the main character, Mike Tobacco, were just cheesy enough to be good. And I love everything about the evil sheriff. Mm-hmm. He is such a drunk, cantankerous asshole, and I'm pretty sure I knew a cop just like that.
You're not going to make a dummy out of me.
My biggest problem with the movie, though, were the two comedic relief characters. The two people in the ice cream truck.
Oh my gosh.
I never laughed a single time they were on screen. Every time they were on screen, it wasn't like cringe, and the problem was it wasn't even cringe levels of I can't believe I'm
That
watching
would have at
this.
least been fun.
That I would have at least felt something. But every time they were on screen, they honestly, and the fact that they're so focused on the second half of the movie, kind of spoiled it for me a little bit. I gotta say. So Jesse, you next.
So I'm actually pretty much on the same page as Sydney that my situation is a little different in that the movie, what really hurts this movie for me was the rep it had for me going into it, because I did not see this one super young. And by the time I did see it, I had heard so many things like, oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's so gory.
I guess one thing I did forget to mention is I saw one scene of this movie when I was super young, and it's the bit where the security guard is pelted with pies and he melts. And that terrified me as a child.
It's just that it's just when you hear people talking, certain expectations are like raised in your mind, and so when you get to the movie, it can only disappoint. Yeah. Now that said, there's a lot I love about this movie. I think that'll probably be the same for all of us. That we'll all like gravitate towards the same scenes. But and that's not to say I disliked the movie. I had a really good time watching it. It's just there was kind of that aura over my head the whole time where I was just like, this is fun. I was expecting it to be a bit more over the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. It doesn't go over the top of the places it should.
I was expecting it to just be wackadoo.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong time.
It's wrong time.
I actually love this movie, but yet I saw it when I was younger. So rewatching it for this podcast, brought a lot of happy memories of watching this. One thing I do like is they're not clowns like a human clown, like a guy who's painted face and stuff. They really use like the rubber suit. The look was great. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the makeup and like effects on the clowns' faces are amazing. Like even for the time,
they are.
And the colors and stuff. It was perfect. I like all that stuff. I will agree with you about the two doofuses in the ice cream truck. Their place shouldn't have even been like they could have literally cut those characters out. It would have been a
better movie without them.
Yeah, and because they were very pervy and
they were a great tone setter for the beginning. Yeah, that's about it.
And I agree with you. And one of the things I also love about this movie, I kind of said it already, but is the death scenes. Like they were. Like, of course, corny, but that's what you expect with this movie.
Literally corny. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like shadow puppets, eating you, death by pies. I mean, hell, cocoons with cotton candy. I mean, the endless. And I can't forget about this. I almost forgot about this. One of the parts that just cracks me up is the part where he creates a balloon animal dog to go sniff out
hunts them down.
Hunts them down with that balloon animal.
That part did get me too.
So I mean, it's definitely fun movie to watch and stuff. Liam, what's your take on
absolutely. Okay, so I think this just might be a hot take, but I'm gonna start it off by saying I enjoy the ice cream guys.
Oh shit!
Sue me, why don't you? Okay, but
and now it's time for the Blood Wars.
Oh, okay, but the thing is, I really love this movie. It's so good. I didn't watch it as a kid or anything, and like I didn't hear great things about it.
We're at the opposite. Like
because I just when I was like I don't know 8, it was like 5 to however old you stop go grocery shopping with your mom. I always find like this movie in like the $5 bin. Something like that. In Blockbuster, same thing, stuff like that. So I only saw the front cover and stuff, and I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. I'm kind of scared and stuff like that because clowns kind of terrified me. Mm-hmm. Until I saw like this Scottish clown when I was 12. Never mind. But but
another story for another day.
Another story for another day. Anywho. So I watched this movie after I graduated high school. I was working at a retail store, and it's common retail store problems, like customers just make you upset and stuff like that. So I put on this movie and I had a blast. Like, it was so fun.
It made the world a little brighter.
It made the world a little brighter in, like, the grimmest way possible.
Well, plus there's that scene at the drugstore. It's really what it feels like working in a store.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just seeing all these guys just, like, mess up everything, and you're like, God, I gotta restock that. But, like, the clowns were so cool, and, like, I saw that the Chiodo brothers helped do a majority of this movie. Like, a majority of the budget was in production.
I think I saw the budget of the film was $1.8 million, which I'm shocked that they had such a high budget.
Well, it was like they were really good at what they did, so like they made this movie really cheap.
Even the effects were actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
And
if you're motivated, you can do a lot with a little.
You can do a lot with a little.
And this is like a perfect example of like the horror movie budget, where you spend dirt cheap making the movie, and then you always come out making money.
Do we know that this made money at the time?
I heard it was really
bomb.
rocky,
Well,
and it got made its money back and stuff like that through cult following.
Yeah.
So usually
same
it follows
thing as
the horror movie
as
And I think
Apocalypse Now or The Thing.
I think
But
that
those are not
they
examples.
had it planned. I guarantee they knew it wasn't going to be a box office smash.
Oh, yeah.
They knew the long thing was probably
game.
going to be the best. Also, guys. Oh wait, Sid, you saw? No, you did yours, right?
I did my first.
I was going to say, what any death scenes that stood out that were
The
like,
shadow puppet scene.
Yeah.
That was by far my favorite.
The one I like more than that actually is the hand puppets.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Where they're on the balcony and he has the hand
Oh
puppet.
yeah.
That was a great one, too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so who in like the middle of the night goes to a gazebo, sees a puppet, and he's like, "I'll stay and
I
watch it."
absolutely would.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay,
There's
but-
lots of questionable decisions in this movie.
That was also sarcasm.
I mean,
Oh,
like
right,
half,
right.
half of the
Absolutely,
movie is like the guy in command of the police station losing his mind, going, "I'm not helping any of these people."
And the funny thing is, he ends up a puppet.
He ends up a puppet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's real funny.
I do.
VI.
That was actually my favorite scene of the movie. Like when he was a dummy and he's
Yeah.
like, "What's the matter, Dave? We're only here to kill you." And
Yeah,
then, like,
exactly.
he throws the dummy
No,
off,
that-
and I was like, "Yes, so
Yeah,
cool."
that is a legitimately good line
It
in
is.
any horror movie.
Especially when a puppet does it.
Especially when a puppet does it.
I think my favorite death scene might actually be like the pizza. The pizza scene with the hot girl holding the glass of white wine, and it's like, oh, pizza. Then all of a sudden the little green haired clown pops up, and the soundtrack kicks in with the rock surges.
As we talk about this movie, I'm starting to like it more and more.
right, it's so good.
I mean, like they threw everything out. Like I mean, even the popcorn that stuck to their clothes and then went back to their house and mutated
they
into
hatch
smaller
little eggs or something.
smaller killer clowns.
So you throw your babies at the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, like, as far as like really granted, like the villains in this movie are clowns, but the designs are legitimately great. And I think Jesse and I have had this conversation before about how like scary clowns usually aren't scary.
Oh yeah, for me, I actually do have. I don't know what the word for it is. Chlorophobia.
Something like that.
Whatever it is,
Something.
I actually do have a fear of clowns, but it's legitimate clowns, ones you would see like in real life. Once they're all monstrified and like designed to be scary,
Then they kind of lose it.
The entire fear just goes away.
But the designs for these like for the clowns themselves are actually not bad.
I love them all.
And then they like their transition from like in disguise or whatever to like monstrous is actually pretty good. Even the little baby snake clowns.
Oh,
that
I
come
love
out,
that one.
Like they're legitimately creepy and cool looking. Yeah, it's just all around like it's a pretty good movie. Just with two
Little
very
hiccups
big
here and
flaws.
I would love to
Road
see
bumps.
Road bumps.
so I would love to see a sequel of this movie.
I looked on Wikipedia and
in
it
the-
said it's been in development hell for years.
It probably
And
will
it's like
stay there.
slowly clawing out near.
I don't think
Do
we
you
need it
want
though.
it to?
I don't want
I
it.
mean,
Right.
Remember Independence Day?
If we
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
again, if it's like Killer Clowns versus Ninja Turtles, you bet your butt I will.
Well, I
be
mean,
there.
yeah,
If
I would watch it.
If
I
they-
would watch
if
it,
they-
absolutely.
If they keep it with the '80s cheesiness, great. But you know,
They're
the
gonna
new-
dull it
they're
down.
gonna make.
They're
yeah,
gonna
they're-
try
they're
to
gonna-
capture that feeling of cheesiness, and it's gonna be like way too much trying.
Yeah.
$5 says it's going to be a Snapchat filter
Like-
to advertise it.
Like
Oh,
Joe
God.
Dirt too. Joe Dirt
What is
too.
that? Just pick a movie.
Oh, you're right, because I absolutely asked for Joe Dirt
Pick
too.
a,
No
pick
one
a,
wanted it. Well, everybody thought they wanted it.
just pick a movie from like the past few years that came out and like that had a prequel that came out 20 years ago. How many of
Blade
them
Runner
are-
2049.
Well, yeah, but that's one out of like what third? Like how many came out?
Oh
this
yeah,
year?
he's absolutely right.
Like,
I hate
even-
like
like
every
10.
movie that does this.
the two and like the,
Evil Dead was good. The remake.
It was good.
But that's
It was
fine
great.
because like I said, like that's two out of how
Yeah,
many?
I know what
Joker
you're
two?
saying.
It's like
I know
Oh,
we
I
have
forgot about that
we
one.
have a
yeah,
whole.
Oh, and-
everyone did.
Has anyone seen the Train Spotting sequel? Like to go completely off the rails.
Well, he was
No.
talking about this. I haven't.
Gotcha, me neither.
So what?
I-
The Train Spotting sequel.
There's a sequel that came
Oh,
out.
I didn't even know that.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Back to horror movies.
Okay.
Oh,
Because this is a horror.
I want to
podcast.
say one
Horror.
one of my favorite scenes that didn't include clowns
Okay.
was the old prospector guy in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, the farmer. The farmer was great.
Did-
I honestly
is-
wish he was
okay.
in the movie more.
Is it just my imagination, or is that the same guy that's on Fraggle Rock as the guy with the dog? He looks just like the same guy, right?
Oh my
might be.
god!
I think it might
I-
be, right? I
well-
didn't do my research on it, so I don't know. Maybe you guys can let us know out there in the
Email.
world.
Sorry,
Email us
what,
whenever we post
what
this.
show did you say
Yeah.
it was?
The
Fraggle
Fraggle Rock.
Oh,
Down Fraggle Rock.
I don't know. I didn't have cable when I was a kid, so I've never actually seen it.
I only had a DVD,
I
so I
only
saw.
know the clap.
I only had a DVD, so I've seen like the only 3 episodes back to back,
And
like the
With
the,
me being the oldest mother effer here.
Ron,
yeah.
come on.
Oh yeah,
Motherfucker.
motherfucker. Sorry.
You got to go for the motherfucker.
Sorry,
Sorry about being
sorry.
old.
We're a blue podcast.
Yeah, of course. I remember Fraggle Rock like it was yesterday. On TV, air.
I think
Not even syndicated yet.
I think we were talking about a Killer Clown movie.
Oh yeah,
it's a-
yeah,
oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But we were talking about the actor.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was linked to it.
It was linked.
All right, so wasn't Kevin Bacon in it? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, Kevin
No,
Bacon.
I'm just
Let's
joking.
do it. 6
Keep
degrees.
the 6
Keep
degrees.
your Kevin Bacon away from this.
Fake Kevin Bacon was in this movie.
Okay, Canadian bacon.
Canadian.
Okay,
That's beautiful.
please love our cheesiness. All right, should we go to ratings? I mean, we're
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to talk
I
about.
don't
Yeah.
think I do. Like, this is
I
a
really-
good movie, but it's not a really thinking movie.
Okay, well, here, how about this? How does this movie stack up with other clown horror movies like that you've seen? Like
you mean how does it stack up with it?
it
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's way better.
It's better.
You would say it's way better.
Oh, yeah.
It's way
Which
better.
are we talking about?
Both.
Both.
Really?
See, no.
Well, 'cause-
Are you sure?
Tim
Okay.
Curry goes a long way,
Tim Curry, but Spider Curry doesn't.
but Tim
No,
we all float. Wah, wah.
Tim Curry's great. Fun montages of adults and children playing isn't great for a Stephen King movie.
Actually, I think the children playing like really did make a good
Right.
sense of camaraderie,
But
but that's
this-
an entirely
it's fine.
other
I will say-
review.
That's a different movie.
I will say this movie and even the 1990 It movie with Tim Curry are like great movies to like for kids to get into horror because like honestly that's kind of where I got into it, and then I started to get more risque with what I was watching, like adding some Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that down the road. But like you might not want to throw like those kind of horror movies.
I feel like this
first.
movie is a lot of kids first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
yeah.
other clown
I
movies.
I honestly can't think of very
I
many
can't
that
either.
aren't
There,
straight to
there
video
really
trash.
is. There really, yeah,
I want to say
I agree.
Gremlins is like a better kiddie pool.
yeah.
movie,
That one too.
And then you go
Well,
into Killer Clowns.
Watch
Yes.
out because I was showing it to my kids and I forgot all about the part where Phoebe K says, "How did you not know Santa Claus didn't exist?"
That's my
Then
favorite.
my-
I was like, "No!"
Then my bad. Let's go to Gremlins
I just held.
2.
I literally.
that
oh
way
my
you
God,
know
the new
Abraham
batch.
Lincoln.
Oh no!
Real life spoilers.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
The
So,
real life
yeah.
spoilers.
The Clown in Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
shit,
yeah,
there was
that's
a clown
right.
that
There
shows up
sure
for us.
was.
There was everything in Cabin in the Woods.
So I would rank that clown on par with these clowns.
Oh, how dare you!
I'm sorry.
I do love Kevin in the Woods, and that might be a future podcast in the future.
Oh,
But-
I could talk about that movie a long time.
Yeah, me too. Joss, you're a god. Let's see. So what?
I mean, I just have some
Go
bullet
ahead.
points written
Throw
down
it
in my
down, man.
notes that I want to talk more about this movie.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
mean,
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, the whole thing. You're not wrong that this isn't like a smart movie or a very very
There's
like-
nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, absolutely.
I,
But-
in fact, have a great love for movies that aren't artistic.
Yeah, but
Me
the
too.
problem
And it's like-
the problem with this particular movie is it's kind of hard to talk about. Every time we start talking about it, it just kind of
It's just,
devolves to.
oh,
do you remember
that
that
was
part?
a cool scene.
Do you remember
That
that,
was
part?
awesome. That was awesome, and it's like
And-
it's the ideal summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's the campiness
And-
of it. It's like we're going to say, "Hey, remember that one part?" Or
Mhm.
how? Hey,
So I really
Yeah,
hope
you're-
you've
you're-
watched this movie,
Yeah.
those listening.
Yes.
Otherwise,
oh no, yeah. Every
Well,
week,
Spoilers for a movie that came
yeah,
out in
and,
88.
and we're gonna let you guys know at the end of each podcast what our next movie will be, so you guys can watch that before listening
But
to that.
before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's get to the ratings. Jesse, you go first.
You want to do the
okay,
ratings?
my
All
ratings.
right.
This is a complicated one because I always try to judge things by what they were attempting to do, rather than like this overall like hoity-toity
The
sort of thing.
execution.
And so for me, my rating will probably fluctuate whenever like someone asks me. And right now, I'm sitting at like a 7.
That sounds about right.
There's a lot of things I like. There are a lot of things I could leave. Yeah.
I mean, kind of like how you said what they what they were trying to accomplish, and I think they did it. It's something I love this movie. Of course, I wouldn't say, "Oh, this is like my top favorite horror movies" or something, but it is fun to watch. With that being said, I'd probably also put it at about a 7, almost leaning towards the 8. But I think 7's probably the smarter way to say
That
it.
sounds pretty
Sorry,
good.
Liam.
No, you're
All
fine.
right.
You're fine.
Go ahead,
I mean,
man.
like it's tough because like this I just have so much fun watching this movie that I want to say easily 10 out of 10 stuff like this, but like I know there are problems with this movie, so I'm gonna go for like an 8.
But would you say the problems are meant, or problems were like they didn't mean them? Like that's what I'm saying. Like everything seems like they intentionally wanted it to be that way.
I'll get to it when
Go
it's
ahead.
my turn.
Yeah.
I would say that. Hold on, can you repeat the question?
I'm
trying to remember.
I think it was trying to
Yeah.
ask is, are the flaws of the movie intentional?
Yeah.
Like, what do you hate? Is what you hate about the movie or dislike about the movie like intentional, or is it like accidental things that are just
like
kinda-
how we were talking about.
They're intentional. Because like if like for like B movie standards and stuff like this, I'm like, oh, this is one like the best ones, like B plus, absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh, see, Jesse gave me that scary look.
That was a nod.
He
Oh,
was-
okay, cool.
He was agreeing with you.
Oh, cool.
That's
I was
his
like,
agreement.
I'm not
Whatever.
sure. But yeah, it's like the problems are intentional. So I understand people would say, hey, this sucks. This isn't like Shawshank Redemption or anything like that
I wouldn't
kind of
understand
ordeal.
I wouldn't compare this.
I mean, like, yeah, but it's like if
I know what you're saying. It's not the masterpiece that
if you
you're trying
if you
to
talk to people who will bring that up in a conversation, it's gonna be like that.
AKA assholes. Now.
Yeah. They wanted it to be like this. They weren't expecting the Oscars for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely not an Oscar.
Yeah.
No, I would actually probably give this movie more of a 5 out of 10 personally.
I was leaning towards a 6.
I do like this. I like this movie quite a bit, but it's like I said at the beginning. Like it tries too hard to lean into the camp. Like if it just, it's like, even if they were trying to go for it, you just gotta let it flow naturally. You can't force it. Like I can't express this enough. I can't stand those two ice cream truck characters. I hate them so much.
And they were supposed to be the comic relief.
Yeah, and the fact that the second half
Nothing
of the
is
movie,
worse than bad comic relief.
No,
Yeah.
it's because like I was laughing more at the serious characters, and like that's if the movie would have focused more on that, I think it would have been great. Yeah, don't lose. But and like I don't know, it's a great movie, and it's definitely something I'm gonna watch come Halloween time. You know, sit back on Saturday night, have a few drinks, and watch it.
I would say that about like my numbering system, at least that 5s are like the cap of a movie that I would continuously watch.
Yeah.
Once we get into like the 4s and
No.
3s and 2s, then I wouldn't watch.
Well,
them.
once you get to the
not-
4s and
not
3s
for
and
me.
2s, then they
Not-
kind of start turning back around.
Yeah.
5 is more of a 0, and the other 2 are 10s.
Well,
see,
1 I'll always watch.
Always
1.
watch it.
Yeah, if I give anything less than a 6, it's probably a movie that like I'm probably not gonna return to, just because it's like heads or tails. It's like, do I watch it again? But then I'll start thinking, oh, but there's like tons of other movies I want to rewatch or watch that I haven't watched yet. And
So many movies.
I know.
I give 5s and 4s to movies I'm gonna forget like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I also
Like
agree
there,
with that.
like
Oh, I
there,
guess that's
there,
true. Maybe
there's-
maybe this movie does sit more at a 6 on my personal
I
scale.
was gonna say I'm leaning 6 after
because
what I
the
said.
way
Yeah.
because the way I want to say is like if you think in your head a 6 is about 60%, of course, in this rating, so you're it's a below average.
A 5,
But-
I think to me a 5 would be closer to the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Something I'm never going to go back to.
Okay, I put
what
that at a
Nightmare on
6.
Elm Street remake? That never happened.
I'm
I
sure
don't
you
know
think.
why.
Liam,
you would.
Oh.
Liam, you own it.
Don't worry,
That's not.
I own it.
right.
I own it, but
Oh my god, that's amazing.
the
Hold on, where do I?
and I know we're going into another thing, but I will say since you brought that up, man,
Oh,
the
God.
only reason I hate the new one, the main reason, other than Robert Englund's not Freddy, is they made him a pedophile. He was always a child murderer in the old ones. And yes, it does bother me that he's a child or pedophile, and he worked in a daycare, which I worked in a daycare, so it kind of really touched on a nerve of mine. God, you can be so serious.
Now,
Keep an eye on that for subscribers.
Okay,
So
we're
we-
just let.
Keep an eye on the
I mean,
voice,
like
subscribe.
right now we're at about 27 minutes into the thing. I want to keep going further, but
don't know what else to do.
yeah, we beat this horse till it was dead
yeah.
already.
So this would be the point of the show where we would normally go over like email questions, anything like that, which we're probably not going to have any for a while.
Oh, and also
I'll fake it.
I'm going
I'll
to
fake
try
it
to
for you.
incorporate also like some critic reviews, like the good ones and the funny bad ones. Like some of them out there are hilarious to read.
Once we start getting things up and running,
yeah.
I feel like.
And once we start taking better notes, because
Yes.
we are like literally we'll sit at this table and we're all like checking IMDb and little cliff notes, and
It's
we're like,
great
what
that-
did I write down?
It's great that there's 4 of us though, because that means somebody
Yeah.
could be talking while one of us is like.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
I
magic.
just have like a tiny little notebook with like a bullet point list.
it's his little
It's
black
very
book.
handy.
Thank you. It is really handy
Cool
whenever
effects. Cool. The movie does have really good practical effects. I love that
the,
about
the
this.
practical
the
effects are
makeup
the best.
on the clowns is like
Perfect.
super awesome.
Plus, there's something about that little green one. For some reason, he's kind of adorable.
He really is.
All the noises
I wanna boop his
that they
feet.
make is
Shout out to
adorable.
Haley.
Shout out to Haley.
Yeah.
Now, like I was saying before I was interrupted, this would normally be a part of the show where we go over emails sent
Always
in from
interrupted.
listeners, questions, stuff like that. Now, if you do have any questions, just send it into mikeintheasylum@gmail.com. That's MICINTHE
Good enough.
asylum at gmail.com.
Does that exist yet?
No, I made that.
Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, we have it. I kind of thought I had
I'll
it.
email it.
No, yeah, we'll get a few questions here or there asking us about it.
And yeah, from like, of course, it's going to be about past podcasts, of
Mhm.
course, unless like you.
Unless it's just a question like, what do you think of this? What's your favorite one?
Yeah, exactly, and we'll definitely answer all those that come through.
Okay. And now I think it's time for the moment we all have been waiting for. Jesse is going to be suggesting our movie for next week.
Yes,
Do you
drum
want
roll.
a drum roll?
It's too
I will
late.
have a question first.
Go knock over Snowball.
Okay, so my very important question is, I have 2 options,
Oh,
and
crap.
my first question is, are we okay with foreign movies?
I am.
I am.
See,
Then my pick for the evening is a French film from 2016 called Raw. I do believe it is on Netflix.
I
The
think
last time I checked.
Okay, this is a movie. Okay, I
Give
am
us-
going to watch it. I'll watch it, and now I have a reason to watch it. It was one of those movies that I always kept saying, I'll probably watch it just because of the whole controversy of it.
I did not know there was controversy.
Well, there's a lot of people that left the theaters because it was
I don't
gross.
even
Good.
know.
Like,
I don't
yeah.
even know what this movie is. Give me like the back of the box.
People threw up.
Like what it
watching
is.
Can
It's
I
like
say real fast
she's
that I do believe that this is a movie that's really good to go into like as blind as possible.
Fucking
I will
fine.
give
Okay.
you the poster.
okay.
All right. No, I've seen that poster before.
Like
All
you're
right.
going to see her eat raw chicken and raw meats.
Raw.
It kind
I
of looks
won't-
like gum.
Well, I only saw it on the trailer because I've not watched this movie, so I'm going in blind, and now it gives me a reason to watch it.
Righto.
All
All right.
So fine. Got something for next
So
week.
raw.
Thank you all for joining us on our maiden voyage. Well, one of the maiden voyages.
Yes.
There's going to be
And-
multiple.
We hope
Yeah.
to see you here